Hello, YouTube. So we're going to talk about why this sub is moving so much. So right now this sub is currently playing 7.83 hertz. You say that's a brainwave frequency that's outside of the human audio spectrum. And you're right. So why do I have this just thumping about? Because you can entrain yourself with sound to get theta. That's what we're doing right here. Taking this massive speaker and moving it about in such a way that it generates native theta. Um, you can entrain your brain like this, and soon I'll have a Muse EKG headset to be able to test this. So I'll be able to play different frequencies out of this speaker or any speaker and have it be so that we can collect data on how these frequencies affect the body, just like say 20.1 hertz or this whole giant book of all these different frequencies. Like, we could just go on and on and on about all of this. Like, for instance, brain normalization is 15.4 hertz. There's there's so much to be gleaned on this book, and so much that is being used in the daily world to hypnotize people and to I don't want to say this, but they don't know about it, so they're not aware of it hurting them. So let's just go to a random page. Mytoplasm general can be used for sinus and other problems. That's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a bacterial disease, which, like leprosy. If you play 30 hertz, you get leprosy or a symptom of leprosy. You can also play, say, 410 hertz and get leprosy. Now, should you or I go do that? No, because that would literally give you symptoms of leprosy. The way this book works is you find the thing that you want to stimulate, and then you look across and see the frequency range, and you do that. The trouble is, we could go on and on and on, but which are the best frequencies? The obvious question is, which frequencies do I play if I can only play 4 of them? The answer is the Schumann frequencies, or the frequencies that coincide with the golden ratio. These frequencies, they basically coexist with your brainwave frequencies, and when you have them in full balance, I say fully balanced, but we're not there yet. When you have these frequencies that emanate from your brain, it basically gives you consciousness in a way. Dan Winter has described it in that kind of way, giving you increased consciousness. But what if we wanted to, say, decrease consciousness by, say, playing a heavily distorted tone that breaks up? Like, for instance, glitch pop EDM, or any super annoying things. That's what happens. Is your body's like, hey, this isn't good for me. So why do you expose yourself to that? Now, is that saying that every 30 hertz is going to give you leprosy? No, because 30 hertz also is associated with CBD. And you say, wow, that's kind of crazy, but 33 hertz is associated with THC, which the general impression is that CBD is a lesser weed. It's a less potent cannabinoid, which from the frequency spectrum it lines up. And we can also just go to minerals. So if you're wanting to research the mineral topics more, what you can do is go over to Applied Science with Ben, and he has a great video on him taking a nitrogen containing compound, putting a magnetic coil around it, and being able to sense whether or not that's there. He did it with a resonant circuit. Basically, he had a tone generator playing a certain tone, and then he looked on his oscilloscope to see that when he placed the nitrogen containing compound in there, it coupled far greater. So what happens is this electromagnetic frequency is penetrating the substance, and the substance is like, okay, we're good to move at this frequency, and it does. It's that simple. It's a resonant thing. Now you say, well, resonance, well, we see that a lot in mechanical systems, but from the general proper, you don't really see them in biological systems, and that's because we have multiple. Depending on which region you go to in the world, you'll hear 5, 7, 9, 13, 72,000, 72 billion. The answer is not set in stone because in, say, Western societies, we've said that, hey, you don't really need to take care of any of your chakras. You can just let them be. But in other cultures, like Buddhist cultures, they take that as a point of pride, and they emphasize the balance of their chakras. And I say chakras, and everyone in the comment section is gonna be like, "Oh, you awake, fuck?" I am awake, but you know, some people are gonna call this pseudoscience as well, and I have to say, well, how can you not say that this is not science, because there's been years and years of peer-reviewed study. For instance, Dr. Rife, I don't have that handy right now, but he did his work in the 60s and 70s and determined all of these diseases. And he did that at a hospital with many, many patients. And he was actually able to treat them fairly well. The only issue with that topic is it requires much knowledge of the subject. You have to understand that there's 300 pages in here, and you basically have to look at each one of these, and not every person is going to be receptive to this. If you're a stiff or a hard-minded person who doesn't want to believe, well, what's denial? It's you stiffening up to something you don't want to hear. You're literally repulsing it. So when you do that, when you have this notion that something's not going to work, your mind automatically goes into, it's not going to work, so I'm not going to reciprocate these ideas. Basically, you're on the wrong frequency, but yeah. So the muse, what's that going to bring us to the table? My hypothesis is that it's going to allow us to see our major brain frequencies and be able to tune them based off of what we see. From my knowledge, I'll get a dB spectrum and a graph that shows them over time. I'm quite excited for this because, you know, we can have this subwoofer just play some Schumann frequencies like 7.83, 20.1, or we could go and play some BAHR, some Bra frequencies. So these Bra frequencies are associated with the chakra energy field. So what happens when you play these frequencies is you liberate free electrons in your body, and you allow them to be traversed across the energy blockages. These blockages are essentially traffic jams inside your body, and when you have a traffic jam in a city, you get one spot that has a cluster of like 1,000 cars, and you get another spot, like halfway across the city, that there's no traffic at all. And, you know, that's essentially what we're trying to do, is break up those traffic jams to create a balance. It's not like adding another lane by adding a stent in your heart is going to fix your back. What we have to do is we have to make these cars flow easier. We have to make them, in many ways, we have to clear out the gunk in the road. We have to do many things to improve ourselves. But that is the ultimate goal, is to improve. So we'll be tracking this on the channel. I have plenty of willing test subjects, so we'll see how many I can get or how many I want to get. I may end up with multiple of these, and yeah. So with that, I'm signing out for this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.